What is the deal with Watchdog Man? If you're a One Punch Man fan, and you should be since you clicked on this video after all, this is probably a question you've asked yourself at some point. Well, he's the only furry that I respect.
Furry.
Approved! Because he's strong enough to be ranked 12 in the S class and gave Garo his second biggest ass whooping next to Saitama. Some say that there's pretty solid manga evidence that even show that he's a monster, which is a possible way to explain his insane strength. Along with that, a real life dog that might have inspired the character of Watchdog Man might indicate a pretty tragic backstory. Well, in terms of strength, some of the mystery around cosplay Saitama just cleared up in a new bonus chapter that recently came out. Here we get hard numbers on how fast he can move, along with how strong he is. And to be honest, it's no surprise how crazy some of his feats are. I'm just gonna read the chapter to you guys verbatim because it's like 4 pages long, so it'll be quick. We open the chapter with our boy perching on his watchdog mantle. As the narration reads, Q City. Nothing strange today either. This city has the lowest casualty count from monster disasters. Nowadays, it's said to be the safest city. The reason is Watchdog Man, who operates from Watchdog Plaza located at the center of Q City. Then we see him getting a little sleepy, but suddenly he notices that there are several monster attacks occurring at the same time. It looks like there's this pterodactyl monster flying in from the sky, and this other monster drilling underground, among others. And the narration continues, whether invasions come from the sky or invasions from underground, he immediately smells the presence of monsters and rushes to the scene in just a few minutes at blinding speed, said to be 250 kilometers per hour. So 250 kilometers per hour comes out to about 155 miles per hour, which yeah, is insanely fast. It's faster than most sports cars. But I know some of you might be thinking, well, by manga or anime standards, that's really not that fast. Even in universe where there's people that are capable of going almost light speed or moving great distances in fractions of a second, it doesn't seem that impressive. I mean, I can just sense right now that the power scalers out there are just itching to type about how it's such an underwhelming feat and how much faster Goku is or something.
He not beating Goku. He not beating Goku. He not beat. Nobody could beat Goku.
But we also got to take into consideration that Watchdog Man is like barely trying in any of these fights. Like he's just casually getting rid of all these monsters across the city without even breaking a sweat seemingly. And his speed is further elaborated when the narrator says, there have been many cases where Watchdog Man arrived at a reported location dozens of kilometers away from him, faster than the neighborhood's patrol officers. That day, estimated disaster level demon monsters launched a surprise attack on the city center. And in the next page, we see that 41 seconds since appearance confirmed, we see that Watchdog Man has already handled the problem. And people at the Hero Association HQ point out that it was killed before they even sounded the alarm. Like before they could even react and sound the alarm and give it a confirmed disaster level or anything, the problem was already taken care of across the entire city. So this shows right here that not only can Watchdog Man move at these incredible speeds, all these threats scattered around the city at once being powerful demon level monsters does not matter at all. So again, going back to the fact that Watchdog Man is hardly trying here and still single-handedly defeating all of these demon level threats and getting rid of them before anyone even realizes what's going on, it's pretty damn impressive to me. I don't know about you, but the chapter ends by saying, nothing weird today either in Q City that Watchdog Man protects. His true power is still unknown. So yeah, if you weren't convinced already, this is pretty much confirming that this is only the tip of Watchdog Man's abilities. Yeah, his capabilities are truly inhuman, which leads many to think that he's actually some kind of monster. I mean, really, that's the only way that you can explain how strong and fast he is, and also how he moves on all fours the way he does. Also, how small do you have to be to fit in that goddamn costume? I mean, come on. But as I said at the top of the video, there are some indications in the manga that might actually prove this. After all, during Phoenix Man's fight with Child Emperor, once he traps Child Emperor in the Phoenix space, he mentions that Watchdog Man will be one of them very soon. He kind of briefly mentions this as he's recruiting Child Emperor to form a costume monster group. This could be just a throwaway statement, sure, but I personally think that it's interesting that this comes after it was explained that costume monsters are created when someone fuses with their costume after feeling the negative emotions that are usually linked to a regular monster transformation. I don't think it was a coincidence that this was all kind of touched on before he mentions this statement. It's possible that Watchdog Man was a strong hero that wore his dog costume before, but at some point he might have monsterfied in a way that he didn't become evil, but still technically became a monster. It could be similar to what's seemingly going on with a My Mask right now, where he's still a hero, but there's some stuff going on with him underneath that heavily imply that he's some kind of monster and like losing his sanity or something. Would be a crazy twist if that's what's going on internally with Watchdog Man, which is why he doesn't really ever talk much either. Now, considering this, your next question might be, well, what caused this rush of negative emotions in Watchdog Man to cause this monster transformation in the first place? Well, to possibly answer that, we kind of have to mix up some real life lore with some One Piece lore. Sounds super weird, but just follow me here. And as a side note, make sure to subscribe because I do post One Punch Man content on this channel each and every week, and it's always One Punch Man all the time. I'm probably the only One Punch Man exclusive channel, and to top it all off, I cover One Punch Man chapters probably before anybody else, so you know, hit that button if you feel like it. So many argue that the character of Watchdog Man is based off a real life dog named Hachiko, and for those of you that don't know who Hachiko is, I'm just going to give you a quick rundown because I have made videos on this before, but essentially Hachiko was this dog many years ago that was adopted by a college professor in Japan. Every day Hachiko would meet the professor outside of Shibuya Station to welcome him from his commute home from work. However, unfortunately, the professor had a cerebral hemorrhage one day that caused him to lose his life before he can meet Hachiko at the station once again, as he always did. So ever since that day for like 10 years, Hachiko would wait in front of Shibuya Station for his master, waiting for him to return. He did this every day until his own death, and his incredible loyalty and inspiring story led to the creation of the Hachiko statue that's still in front of Shibuya Station today. There are definitely some similarities between the Hachiko statue and the way Watchdog Man perches on the mantle that he has in Watchdog Plaza. Now, putting this within the context of the One Punch Man story, it is possible that Watchdog Man at some point lost his master or a loved one, as he would wait for them outside of a train station in Q City each and every day, and then one day they didn't come because they were attacked and killed by a monster. So this led to Watchdog Man becoming a hero, and eventually what might have led to him monsterifying, as he couldn't let go of the emotions of that day. Now, where the One Piece lore comes into play is a bit of a stretch, I'm not gonna lie, but it is pretty interesting and might be actually pretty well connected here. So there's a character in One Piece named Senior Pink, and if you don't know who he is, that's totally fine, but just a very general rundown of his character. Senior Pink is a character that wears this weird baby costume as a homage to his late baby's son. He also wore it because it was the only thing that made his comatose wife smile. So him wearing that baby costume doesn't serve any battle purpose at all. It's simply to pay respects to those closest to him. I think you might be starting to see where the connection is here. It is possible that Watchdog Man wore this costume to pay respects for a close loved one, or somebody that would always laugh whenever he dressed up like a dog or something. It definitely has to have some kind of sentimental value to him, because then why the hell else would he be dressed up as a dog acting as a hero? Again, a lot of this is speculation, and you might definitely say that I'm reaching here, but you know what? This is my channel. I can do what I want. This just goes to show that Watchdog Man 100% has a very mysterious backstory, potentially sinister and potentially very tragic. But out of all these maybes, one thing I do know is that at the very least, Watchdog Man is 100% broken. As someone commented in one of my videos, the less time and budget that goes into drawing a certain character's face, the stronger they end up being for some reason. Perfect example, Watchdog Man and Saitama.